Okay, this is a test of the new blue Move and comparison to the Bliss Light Blue. So what I'm going to do is turn off the music, and now we're watching a wall about 15 feet away, just the blue Move right now. And there was a question about if it Move is slower than the Bliss Light Blue. It's not a real vigorous movement. It's pretty slow, but it appears that they're moving. It just seems to move slower. Okay, now I'm blocking off the blue Move. This is just a Bliss Light Blue, the Bliss 15 kind of body. It appears to me that there are more brighter beams and there is more apparent movement. Let's try that test again. So here I've got both of them together, but it's pretty hard to separate which is the one that's moving vigorously and which is not. So nothing, Sprite, blue Move, doesn't appear to have as many beams, and you don't see the real noticeable lineup of the grid patterns emerging. Maybe it's because some of the beams just aren't bright enough to line up and connect the dots, so to speak. There's a little patterning going on, but there's gaps in it. It's not a continuous stream of equally bright beams. So it seems like the laser diode in the Bliss Light Blue is stronger than the Move, and it may be moving faster. Now I'm going to go cover the blue Sprite Move, and this is the Bliss Light Blue. More beams, more vigorous apparent movement. Hard to say if it's really moving faster or if it's just because there's more of the beams visible. Now there's a real apparent grid pattern starting to line up on the ceiling. Let's see if, there's a grid pattern on the wall. And this is just the Bliss Light Blue now. Doing a random pattern, but on the ceiling it's more apparent. It seems to be a lot more beams. I'm trying to let it go to a point in the 30-second cycle where the pattern recurs. There's a real apparent grid pattern, and it's because more beams are apparent, more that connect the dots in each line are visible. So that's the Bliss Light Blue. I thought they were going to be equal in power, but it does not appear to be the case. And now, here's the blue Sprite Move. New, just arrived today, July 15th. Our first load of 73 of them. Beams are moving, but not as many physically visible. Now I haven't compared multiple Bliss Light Blues together, but it's more of a checkerboard of not as many beams being visible. There just seem to be whole patches. Like in here, I can see very faint beams back in there, but in the green they're much more visible, and the more powerful Bliss Light Blue. Now that I get closer to, there may be some variation in the speed. But now they seem pretty steady. There was a little jerk, just a tiny one. On landscape it wouldn't show as much, indoors it might show more. So, steady complete. Pure's Blisslight Sprite Blue Move does not have as bright a pattern, and still a little hard to say whether or not it's moving at exactly the same speed, but probably it's just less beams apparent, so you don't notice the movement as much, because the brightest beams of all, in all cases, are the station